I can't believe we are about to do this, and you know it's bad when just about every single Hirschfelden video starts out with some form of, I can't believe we're doing this. And the thing is, I like the map, like I really do, but for whatever reason, it's just not as fun to hunt as other maps most times. And I think part of that has to do with the more popular species, the red deer, the fallow deer, even the roe deer, kind of being made easier to hunt on other maps. But regardless, I wanted to come back to the original today and just kind of see how we could do. Now recently, we've been on a bit of a hot streak in just going to maps that we've really not been on since the resets all that much, and just finding cool stuff, whether that be diamonds or rares. We've just been able to do this for quite some time on our single player maps, and Hirschfelden is a map that we've not been on at all since the release of Reventuli Coast and that reset and redistribution. So not only am I hopeful to kind of continue that hot streak that we've been on, but I'm also looking forward to seeing what's different with Hirschfelden. I'm sure there's going to be animals in places that we're not used to seeing, and hopefully it ends up being a good thing. As for that guy though, that actually is something I would have expected to see. Roe deer right outside the starting outpost has always been a thing, and frankly I think it has to stay that way because Hirschfelden is one of the base game maps, and you want the early game to still be sensible as far as like what animals you can shoot with starter equipment where. So I'm happy to see that's still the case, but as we kind of continue further and get farther from the starting area, hopefully things are going to be a little different than we're used to. Now that is pretty cool. This is a lake that was always pretty decent for roe deer, and you get some fallow deer drinking here as well, and probably some other species. Never that I'm aware of were there red deer in this area. Now they're not big, I mean a level 4 and a level 5, and the 5 stopped in a spot that I don't even know that we can get a shot. But I think that might make this interesting. We started this hunt kind of unintentionally right at the start of red deer drink time, and maybe that's what we'll focus on first, is checking some of these areas for red deer. That's been the thing, hunting them on this map during their drink time. You'd so often get them all along the rivers and in places that just weren't very practical to hunt. And again, going back to the beginning, one of the reasons that I think Hirschfelden maybe isn't as fun to hunt as other maps, one of the best species in the red deer, just it would make more sense if you wanted to target them specifically to hunt them on Parquet, Quattro, or, you know, anywhere else basically. But let's see where this goes. It's pretty encouraging to run into red deer that early on, and we'll just work our way up through here. The next spot I wanted to go to was this lake up in this area. It almost would make sense to fast travel, but that's the thing. We don't know where animals are going to be. Maybe this stretch between these two lakes is the best place on the map, so I want to go as many places as we can on foot. This is really intriguing. Number one, that all of our red deer seem to be very much average, but this was a spot, I think it was where I had like my first ever diamond red deer in single player. It was a cool little area, but you'd get like maybe one stag drinking down in here. It's pretty neat to see this many all out in the open, and I guess it is due to the wind direction. They all seem to know we're here, so I guess we'll try to get that guy with the 303, and we'll have to try to watch as things take off. I don't know where they're gonna go because it's kind of steep over on that side. Just kind of make sure we're not missing out on anything bigger. I think we'd have seen it. It probably should have been fairly obvious, but that's cool. We've seen 6-7 stags now between two lakes that in the past maybe you'd have had 2 if you were lucky. We're only 25 minutes in, but I've got to say I'm pretty happy with what I've seen so far on Hirschfelden. I've really felt that a couple of maps, the redistributions that were done really helped them out, and Yukon so far has been my biggest example. I think for the most part, Silver Ridge Peaks is actually a little bit better, Yukon's way better, Medved's better. Maybe Hirschfelden's going to fall into that category. I'm very much open to really enjoying Hirschfelden again. I'm not in the state of mind that I would just hate it no matter how good it is. I'm hoping it's actually that good, and so far, I'm liking what I see. Now we're getting somewhere. A level 1 male European bison. I don't know that we have a Hall of Shame Euro bison. We've got a Hall of Shame Plains bison. Ironically enough, a minimum scorer Plains bison, which happens to be a trophy rating of exactly 12. So, unfortunately, based on the score estimate I saw there, 30 minimum I think he was. Not something we can have happen on this. Would be just great though if he would offer a shot. I suppose that'll work. We do have the 338 today, so, well, naturally, he would just face the other way. The way they're all going, he's going to turn back broadside eventually? I assume, anyway. There we go. And I think that's going to hit him kind of back in the lungs. Looks like, based on the health percentage dropping, it must be a vital hit. So, let's go see it. Like I said, I don't know that we have one of these. I am looking forward, though, in all seriousness, to maybe finding more of the Euro Bison as well. They were the species that, in the very early days of Call of the Wild, really kind of piqued my interest on this map, and they remain one of the only unique species of this map. No Euro Bison on any other map, but this is 38 score. I mean, that's like 30 below silver. 447 kg, I wonder if like 400 or maybe 445. I don't know what the minimum weight would be, but I think that is going to be a Holo Chain Edition, so got something already. Now that looks a little bit better. He's kind of trying to hide down there, but that's got to be maybe a mythical? It is indeed. And before he turns, we'll just drop him there. I had seen this level 4 and I thought we were going to have the exact same thing up in this area, but I had to check here. I promise we'll get on to things other than red deer at some point, but this was the area that I really kind of first got to hunt red deer in. And actually right where that one called from was the location of my first ever diamond. It was actually on stream with JaxyBeard on his map, funny enough. And the nostalgia factor of coming back up here and seeing seemingly a lot of red deer is definitely real. It felt like for a long time they kind of weren't really here or weren't here in the same numbers that they used to be. I'll reserve judgment till we get up through these other lakes in the Onsdorf area, but maybe it's kind of like it used to be up here. It's slowly but surely making me kind of question whether or not that's actually true what I said at the beginning about hunting, you know, red deer, fallow deer, species like that on other maps because it's just better. I don't know that it's necessarily on par with something like Tararoa right now, but so far the places that they're very easy to hunt, and if you had tents there, it could actually be pretty good. Well, this could be interesting. A max weight fox track. Now, I'm not going to hold out too much hope here because the last time this happened, we got a diamond on Yukon, and I just can't imagine 2 max weight fox tracks in a row are going to produce a level 9, but let's see where this goes. We got a rodeo running down there. Probably got to get back on the track because I just came from down there and did not see this track, but maybe we missed it. I just can't seem to figure out where it went. Like, we have the tracks leading up to that one. Nothing from there, though. This does kind of lead me to believe just where these tracks are kind of coming from, that maybe it drinks down to this area. Now, I'm not even sure what red fox drink time is. I'm kind of guessing it's maybe midnight now, but it still may be in that 1900 area that it used to be. And maybe that's going to be where we go from here. I kind of think we may be too late to really see all the red deer around here, but we still do see some, and kind of going back to where we were with a level 5 stag. And that is seemingly the only group of red deer at this lake. Now, like I said, it could be late enough that others have left, but I'm still pretty happy to see that there are stags here, and it wouldn't shock me if they are down in this area as well. But as I said, I don't want this to be a red deer only hunt. I may kind of loop back around and try to just figure out where that fox went. You never know, and if we look at the tracks, they're in a straight line, which probably means when we reset the time at the beginning of this hunt to start at 6 a.m., it did some kind of warping from one location to another, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be anywhere near this area during its actual zone time. So I'd like to, if we can, just stay on the tracks and find them since we have something to go off of, but we'll see. For the moment, we have another average size tag, 140 score for him, and just, it's encouraging to see the amount of red deer that we have. I feel like it's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 years since Hirschfelden's been this good for red deer, at least in the areas that we've been through. And again, it kind of makes me feel like what I said in the beginning isn't as true as it would have been a while back. Well, gonna be tough to circle back and get the tracks when they have seemingly disappeared, although I swear they've been replaced with like this 8 to 12 kilo one. That can't be the case, I don't think. but there's 2 8 to 12 kilo males, so I don't really know. I think we're just going to kind of continue with what we've been doing right now, and we'll give it 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes to hunt around and check some other areas, and we'll try fox drink time. And if it ain't one of these 3 lakes, I honestly don't know what to do, but hopefully it is and we don't have to come to that. Now I'm wondering. Another max weight fox. I mean, it's not beyond the question. Again, this is freshly, well, not freshly reset, but nothing has been touched essentially since like June when Revan 2 came out. There was a warning call up here, so I'm thinking this one's not that far away. It's just odd that we'd have multiple. I really want to see what this to serve veg says. And, you know, there's only so many common fur types, so it's not going to be too insane, but yeah. Dark red again. And also, well, there's just now, so he's got to be here somewhere. It is on the absolute low end of being a max weight estimate, level 7. Kind of a decent, I guess, score estimate, 9 to 12. And shot just in front of him. Ooh, actually, we hit him, so good thing that wasn't a level 9, because that wouldn't have gone that well. Not to say I would have taken that shot, but it didn't look like it hit him. That's kind of interesting. Still brought him down pretty quick, as the 243 tends to with the fox, but I really have to wonder, like, would that be the same one? 1,000 meter track distance probably says no. 12 score for level 7. Not that bad. I also wonder, has it always been 14.05? I think it was 14 flat. But we did catch him just in the leg. Regardless, would have been a kind of average size gold at best, or slightly above average. But, I mean, we're 5.5 kilometers. Or even more than that, almost 6 kilometers from where we had the track. It almost has to be another one. I just do find it odd that it was literally the next track we picked up. There is no way. A melanistic European bison. Why is this happening every time we come to the single player? You know, I think in a way, it's kind of like what I said when we got the Diamond Red Fox over on Yukon. It's just Call of the Wild doing Call of the Wild things. For whatever reason. Just the way that events take place in this game, whether it's finding something you've been looking for forever and then finding several more of them immediately afterwards, or like a weird pattern of finding rares. I mean, 3 rare female bison now. Between the Plains Bison over on SRP, we had a Leucistic and a Melanistic, and now a Melanistic on Hirschfelden. It's just so interesting, and we've had, maybe over all the years, 4 rare bison. I remember a Melanistic at the very beginning, a piebald the day the Trophy Lodges came out. We just had an albino maybe earlier this year, our only rare male, and now this one. And the Mela, I mean, that was the only other one we've shot, was within the first 4 months of the game's existence, so we've never had one in the Trophy Lodge. Up until now, right lung, 32 score. It's barely smaller than the male that we shot earlier. That is insane. I'd love if they would add a multi-mount for a female Euro Bison, because the only one with the male is the one with the goose. But maybe one day that'll work its way into a multi-mount. For now, though, it'll find a spot in the second lodge. Well, now we know where that Mela Bison was headed. Maybe not to this particular lake, but apparently to go and drink. I had no idea that the Euro Bison drink time maybe is kind of aligned with the Plains Bison. 10:30 to 1400. When do fallow deer drink then? Because I thought fallow were in this window. Maybe they are. I don't know if any of these are halfway decent. Gold for them is like 168 or something. There's a 4. Actually a good one. Well, we'll just go for that and maybe go and see if we can find some fallow. But we actually had, fairly early on in the hunt, a max weight bison track and just could not locate it. Kind of like what happened with the Red Fox. And maybe that was it. It was kind of around here. But not half bad. 212 to 290, I think it was. And a 236 score. That is fairly decent. We'll take that, especially when looking for something entirely different. There appear to be bison about as all over the place as red deer, which again, I'm not complaining. I definitely don't mind getting to see some of them. They were, again, one of my absolute favorites from the early days. But I think probably we're going to go ahead and get this level 3. And then we're going to try resting to Fox Strength Time and just see what happens with that other max weight track. I'm going to go with 1900 to 2300 because I was thinking of Yukon. And I think Grey Wolves are still midnight to 3 a.m. And assuming that slot is filled, then Fox probably drink before it. It could be entirely wrong. This could take some time to actually figure it out. And that's sort of why I want to do it now. Now, this Bison had a max estimate of 158, so no shot of being a gold. But just a little bonus kill since we came out here looking for fallow deer, honestly. And I'm still pretty sure they drink like 10 to 1300. I just don't know where. Maybe along the rivers? It could be that. There were plenty of fallow tracks in the fields earlier, though. So I'm not quite sure where they're at, but we're going to give that a try. We'll go to probably sometime well after 1900 just to make sure foxes are going to be in their zones. We'll see if we can find them. Now we're at the moment nowhere near where that fox was, but I just wanted to check this. Evidently, their drink time is nowhere near what I thought. It's kind of similar to what gray foxes is over on Mississippi. I want to check and see exactly what it says. 17 to 2000 hours. So by starting so late, we actually missed it entirely. And by the way, our shot wasn't exactly good, but it's going to bring it down. We saw that earlier with the level 7. And I think now we know we can go and check those spots and see if that one's there. And probably not the worst thing that we got that shot out of the way. A little bit low, was 240 meters. I thought we were a touch closer, but still would have been a silver anyway. And let's jump up the Jonsdorf and see. I honestly have no idea after finding that second max weight track what's going on, but we know we're in the right time, so if he's around, we should find him. Well, go figure. There are actually two, so we're probably not too far off from finding out exactly what it is. Just gotta figure out what direction he ran in. It looks like he's gonna go down over this hill, so it's actually the first lake down here in Jonsdorf, kind of the direction he was going in when we had those tracks. And it may take a little time to sort of weave between the trees and get him spotted, but we're on to him now. He's not going to be able to get away like before. And actually, just maybe here, in this little clearing, we may be able to... You have to be kidding. He's the same estimate as the one on Yukon, 12 to 15. What is going on? Now, interestingly enough, he did not at all go where I expected him to, but foxes won't actually run that far. As long as you can kind of see them, they'll typically stop in sight. So, well, that was kind of cool. Got a warning call from him, but he is down right there from the 243, the only shot that we made with the 243 so far today. And I gotta give a thank you to Kyla. She is visiting her family in Georgia for Thanksgiving. And I asked her what the drink time was because I didn't know, and she happened to know that it was from 1700 on. So that was a huge time saver. Could have been here forever trying to figure out that. Got the vital blood. The question is, what is the score going to be? 14.66. That makes him our second biggest diamond red fox ever. And the only reason he's not our biggest is because the one that we just shot over on Yukon, which was also an initial spawn from the resets, was I think 14.8 or 14.9. That is just insane. This hot streak of single player maps. It's amazing that it's gotten this long. Like, we're 5 months since all that stuff's happened, and it was so much time spent on the Black Bear grind, on the Revan Dooley single player diamond challenge that has kept us off of these maps. And it was sort of intentional. Like, I wanted this period of time, the lead up to a new map, to be more interesting and not just kind of boring, some of the same. So in a way, I wanted to leave these maps for this time period, but it has been way beyond anything I ever could have hoped for. I mean, 2 Diamond Red Fox, a Hirschfelden Diamond Red Fox. We haven't done that in like 5 years. The beginner series, whenever that was, maybe 4 years ago. That's the only Hirschfelden Diamond Red Fox we've ever had. Insane. So we're back now in the second lodge. I'm a little disappointed that I couldn't find anywhere to put it in the main lodge, but we just kind of have that area full. So what I think might be neat is to do a multi-mount with our new Diamond Fox that mirrors this piebald. I don't even know if we have, though, a random rabbit mount, and we probably do. We may even have a random diamond mount. I mean, it says we do. Got the 14.6 diamond from today. And then, yeah, I got a number of diamonds in here. We'll just, I guess, get the biggest one. Lots of rabbits have been moved out of the main lodge as new rabbit species have been added and diamonds have been gotten. So it's probably just from that. But that's actually kind of neat. I like it. And then as for the bison, I don't know where we could actually put that. Is this a plaque big enough? It is not. So we'll have to find a larger plaque. And in fact, for whatever reason, we have one open. There's a chance that we put something on this at one point and it got moved for a thumbnail and never returned. But there we go. Never intended to do this, but this is just a room full of melanistics plus a diamond whitetail. But I gotta say, Hirschfelden treated us pretty well today, and I like the way that species are spread out. Still don't know where the heck fallow deer are, but the red deer in their locations, the bison in their locations, the fox drinking in the daylight a little bit. It just makes Hirschfelden a lot more fun, and I kind of gotta take back what I said. Maybe it is on par with how fun it is to hunt other maps. We'll have to see. Initial spawn luck again from back in June when everything was reset with Reventuli. It certainly helps to make a hunt seem like it's more fun, but a rare bison, a diamond fox, that was pretty cool, and we'll have to come back here sometime in the fairly near future and see how we can do. I'd love to get after bison a little bit more, so maybe that'll be the plan, but a 14.6 diamond fox off of Hirschfelden. That's the only diamond fox, like, with this main account that we've ever taken from that map. Again, the beginner series one, where we were like level 4, we got that one, and that was it from that map. So kind of cool to finally get sort of a legacy species diamond off of the original map. And I think on that note, that's gonna do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.